Says remarkable efforts have been made across the continent to strengthen the resilience of people and communities against disaster risk. Commissioner of Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy and Sustainable Environment at the African Union Commission, Moses Villakati, said this in an interview with the NTA. Let's now join our correspondent Mina Daniels in Geneva, Switzerland, who had an exclusive session with the AUC Commissioner.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency Moses Villakati, for this wonderful opportunity to discuss with us on the 8th session of the GP. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for inviting me to this important interview.
Well, as you know, disaster risk reduction and management cannot really be achieved without localizing the mechanisms, to see to its success. So what concrete steps is the AUC taking, and how can the steps be scaled to ensure that early warning systems are accessible across cities, not just accessible, but tailored to the needs of the local communities?
The AU deals with policy issues for the various member states, and that is what it's about. And then the member states implement. So from the policy perspective, the African Union has developed the following policy instruments and strategies, one of which is called Institutionalize and Operationalize the Framework for Multi-Hazard Early Warning and Early Action System. This framework provides the guidelines for the development and operationalization of multi-hazard early warning systems in Africa. The other one is Africa Multi-Hazard Early Warning and Early Action Program, which seeks to increase accessibility and availability to multi-hazard early warning systems and disaster risk information. The other one also is termed the African Union Climate Change and Resilient Development Strategy and Action Plan. This one seeks to address long-term climate change impacts. There's also the Africa Urban Resilience Program, commonly called AURP, which is aimed at addressing urban hazards. There is also the CLIMSA program, which seeks to support climate information services value chain, because it's important that these value chains are understood.
You know that policy development is good, is key, is a starting point. But funding, implementation cannot happen without funding. And of course, you know that disaster risk financing is a major gap in Africa, especially for low-income, countries and climate-vulnerable countries. So what mechanisms and partnerships, is the AUC, putting in place to ensure that there is a financing model in place and disaster preparedness is sure, as well as climate resilience?
Yeah, indeed, the issue of financial gaps are there to make sure that all of these projects and programs can be enhanced. And as such, the AU is working with a number of key partners to support disaster preparedness, as well as climate resilience through policy and innovative strategies. And one of those strategies is to ensure that there is funding available for member states. Obviously, we're not going to meet all the member states at a go. We are starting with a few, and then we'll expand that program to all the member states. But also, the Commission is building the capacities of member states to develop what we term bankable proposals, so that they can be able to access various streams of funding, because sometimes the capacities of our member states is lacking, such that they are not able to come up with bankable projects.
Traditional knowledge was one of the solutions that resonated with this ongoing conference. Yeah, traditional knowledge, and it remains a cornerstone of risk awareness across the African continent. How, again, is the AUC partnering with the media to be able to, ramp up efforts in ensuring an effective early warning systems and a better coverage of the climate change situation?
I think we are lagging behind in terms of harnessing the benefits of traditional knowledge, including taking stock and documenting those best practices. Because with those best practices, we would be able to tell if there is going to be a storm without using the early warning systems. But that needs also to be augmented via the early warning systems that we're about right now. But the key here is, how do we take stock of the traditional knowledge from various countries, from various regions, and then document these best practices? The Commission also is looking at heightening advocacy and communication through member states, and would really appreciate the support of the media, because they're all over the place, to make sure that we can harness that and somehow stock it somewhere. So the media is really the key.
Right, Mina Daniels, there, our correspondent with the AUC Commissioner Moses Velakati. You're watching